Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is so good to have so many of you here with us today. And
And
those of you who
those of
have
you who
the
have the
ability,
ability,
I want to
I
ask you
want to ask you
to mute
to
your
mute your
devices so
devices
that we
so
don't
that
get
we don't get.
um, a reverb. Thank you. And I also want to ask you if you have the ability to show us your beautiful faces. I want to invite you to turn those cameras on so that we could see you and we could enjoy uh, the beauty of who you are. So welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome. I see some familiar names. I'd love to see your faces. And guys, we are going straight into it. In the meantime, would you tell us where you are joining us from? Where in the world are you joining us from? And what are you looking forward to finding out tonight? So good evening, everyone. So some of you, you don't have your name there. So if you would share your name, where you're joining us from, and if you tell us what you're looking forward to most of all tonight, it's going to be a power-packed 2 hours. And we don't have a lot of time. So Bellevue, Ontario, Canada, lovely to have you. Where else are we joining from? I see some folks from the Caribbean. Where else are you joining us from? I see Trinidad and Tobago in the house. So write in the chat where you're joining us from so that we could know who we're talking to. And I want to ask you one more time, New Jersey. Very nice to have you, New Jersey. Who else is in the house? St. Louis, Missouri, and West Palm Beach, Florida. All right. Delray Beach, Florida. Yes, I see you, Trinidad, Trinidad and Tobago. Yes. Who else do we have in the house? Who's in the house? Let us know who you are. Represent. We are so happy. We are so happy to have all of you. We are so happy to have all of you. I was just going to wait. Some people are still connecting to audio, so we're just going to give them a little minute for that to work out there, and then we're going to get started. But it is so good. It is so good to have all of you here and on time. It's going to be an amazing 2 hours. So I want to encourage you to clear any distractions, ensure that you have your notebook. Make sure that you have your pencil, your pen, if you need to have a drink of water, I like to have something warm, anything else that you may need, a snack. Um, I want to encourage you to get those now so that when we begin to drop the fire, that you would have all of that. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So, how many of you here are excited for this masterclass this evening? I want you to write in the chat, me. If you are excited for the masterclass this evening, I'd like you to write in the chat, me, 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 me. Let me see those me's coming in the chat. We're looking for the me's in the chat. All right, I see that me. I see Angie. I see Shoma. I see Dawn. I see Kendra. I see Grace. Yes, me, 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 me. All right, we want those me's to be dropping. Now, I will be asking you from time to time to write things in the chat. Obtuse, or I mean to just have you writing in the chat for writing in the chat's sake. But the statistics show that what you hear, you remember only a fraction of it, less than 50%. What you write, you remember maybe 75% of it. But what you interact with while it is happening, you remember 90 to 95% of that. And we are here not just to give you information alone, because we know that if it were just for information, if information alone did whatever we needed done, then none of us would be here this evening. So we know there's not information alone. It is the practice and the interaction with the information that really makes a difference. So we want to get that squared away from the start. And so, guys, For those of you who have never met me before, I am Dr. Amber Joy Daniel, and it is my honor and my privilege to be part of the team bringing you this evening's presentation. This evening is more than just a masterclass. This evening is a date with destiny. And I should know a thing or two about dates and a thing or two about destiny because I am a destiny strategist. And what I do is help people get from where they are to where they're meant to be. And so this evening, I'd like to use an analogy for you that comes from a very famous movie, Jerry Maguire. In the movie Jerry Maguire, there were two very famous quotes. One of them was, "Show me the money." Anybody remembers Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Tom Cruise? Show me the money. Show me the money. I want to promise you tonight that Angelina, Dr. Rostamova, and we have vowed to show you the money. We're going to show you that your health is your wealth. Your health is your wealth. Somebody write that in the chat for me. Your health is your wealth. And we're going to prove it tonight because we're going to talk about dollars and cells. Somebody write that in the chat. We're going to be talking to you in dollars and cells. It will make a lot of sense to you that your health is your wealth. We're going to talk to you in terms of dollars and cells. And so I want to let you know that it's time to buckle your seatbelt because we're going to be going. So that's the phrase number one. The second phrase that was very famous, even maybe more famous than that one in the movie Jerry Maguire was, "You had me at hello." Anybody remembers that one? You had me at hello. Well, tonight it is my job to kick us off. And I'm going to be real with you. It is my deepest desire to have you at hello. I would like to gain your attention, command your attention, and I'd like to garner and encourage you to go past attention to affection. I want to win your affection because this is about your life. This is about your destiny. Starting with your health, we can move from where you are to where you were meant to be. And your health is the vehicle that will ensure that you have time, strength, vitality, vigor, and vim to do everything that you were born and destined to do. Tonight, I want to share something that might surprise you. It is how stress and trauma get locked into ourselves. Stress and trauma, they just aren't in our minds. They actually get locked into ourselves, affecting our health in profound ways that science is only beginning to understand. And there are actually case studies of cellular memory transfer. For example, Claire Sylvia, there's a book, it's called A Heart. Is it A Heart Transformed or A New Heart? That's the name of the book. Claire received a heart transplant from an 18-year-old male donor who died in a motorcycle accident. And after the surgery, she developed inexplicable cravings for beer and for chicken nuggets. And before this surgery, these were foods that she didn't really fancy. And she began having dreams about a man named Tim. When later she contacted, just as a lot of recipients do, she contacted the donor's family. The shock and surprise was hers when she discovered that her donor was named Tim, and he loved beer and chicken nuggets. And so the key point that the scientific world began to pick up was that cellular memory of preferences and tastes transferred with the physical organ from the donor to the recipient. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. Case study number two. This is a frightened kidney recipient. Another woman received a kidney, this time from a donor who had died in a violent attack. Following the transplant, she began experiencing intense nightmares about being attacked. She had no prior knowledge of who her donor was or how the donor died, and the nightmares contained very specific details that matched the donor's actual death circumstances. I don't mean to be dark and shady. I think that in the end, she was able to help the police get certain bits of information and so on. But the key point here was that even trauma memories were stored in the kidney cells and transferred with the organ from the donor who had passed to the recipient who was alive. I'll do one more. Case study number 3. This one is an artistic transformation. An 8-year-old girl received a heart transplant from a 10-year-old girl who had loved drawing and painting. And before the surgery, this 8-year-old recipient had no interest in art. But within weeks after the transplant, she became obsessed with drawing and displayed even an unusual talent. And her artistic style closely resembled the donor's style, although she had never seen the donor's work and she had never engaged in art, painting, drawing before. The key point here is that skills and talents can also be stored at the cellular level, not just in the brain. Where are you going with all of this, Dr. Amber? Dr. Rostomova and Angelina will tell you all the things that epigenetically can be transferred through the cells, but they would also tell you that epigenetics is not everything. I want to take you down memory lane, and I want to invite you to think about your family. Because what is even more fascinating is that cellular memory isn't just personal, it's generational. And the stress and trauma that your great grandparents, grandparents, and parents experienced didn't just affect them, it affected their cells, which then became yourself. And those patterns are the patterns that you are leaving for your children. And although epigenetics aren't everything, some of us need to do some serious reprogramming starting not now, right now. Because some of these things are just waiting. Some dormant, some have already begun to manifest themselves. They're waiting, coming down the pike at us. And so I want to ask you, what cellular blueprint, what epigenetic legacy would you like to leave for your children? So here's this. Stress doesn't just change our mood, it changes how our genes express themselves. These changes can be passed down to our children and grandchildren. And I can tell you about Holocaust survivors who never experienced the Holocaust, but who had very specific disease and stress triggers. But I want to ask you about your family's disease patterns. Take a moment and write down for me. Consider the diseases that run in your family. On your mother's side, what health issues did your mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother face? On your father's side, what patterns do you see in your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, or grandmother on the paternal side? Do you notice any patterns? Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, hypertension, autoimmune conditions? Are you seeing these patterns beginning in your own body or with your siblings? It's time for you to break the cycle. And the good news is that right here is the best place to start. Just because stress and trauma are stored in our cells, it doesn't mean they have to stay there. And just because you inherited cellular stress patterns doesn't mean that you have to pass them on. And so one of the things that Angelina and Dr. Rostomova will drive home tonight over and over and over again is that standard approaches often fail because everything about you is unique, and certain things have to be based on your unique DNA pattern, your unique DNA blueprint. Angelina will tell you all about that. Dr. Rostomova will go into even greater detail. But my job here tonight is to pique your interest, to garner your attention, to win your affection for yourself, your affection for your legacy, your affection for the children and grandchildren and the great-grandchildren who are counting on you to make a difference. And so many traditional approaches to health transformation stop short of going the distance of reversing disease and bringing us into health and wholeness because they don't work over the long term, because they're not addressing the root, which is the stress and trauma stored in your cells. They're treating symptoms. Diet and exercise alone can't release cellular trauma. That's why you might lose weight and gain it back, or why chronic conditions return even when you're doing everything right. And the solution, guys, because my job is to have you at hello, is cellular level relief. That's what we're here to talk about tonight. The key is learning how to release stress at the cellular level. And when we do this, chronic inflammation is reduced, energy naturally increases and flows, and your body can finally heal from the inside out. Not only are you transforming your own health, but you're changing what you will pass down to your children and your grandchildren and your great grandchildren. You're creating a new legacy of health. And so I close with this. This is exactly where my expertise as an inner healing and trauma release specialist comes in. In this team, I focus specifically on techniques that release trauma, not only from the heart and soul and the mind and spirit, but directly from the cells themselves. While Angelina brings her incredible knowledge of physical transformation and nutritional approaches, and Dr. Rostomova brings all the backing of traditional and naturopathic medicine, I work with clients to identify and release the cellular trauma that's been blocking their progress, sometimes for generations. So together, what you're getting here tonight is an addressing of both the physical and emotional and cellular aspects of healing, creating a complete approach that works when nothing else has. In our work, we've seen remarkable transformations once this cellular treatment is completely done, completely embarked on. When cellular trauma is released, weight loss begins to be nothing. Chronic conditions improve and energy returns after years of fatigue. Guys, on Saturday, I had another birthday. I shared it with my daughter. I'm 2 years away from 50, and this is an important time in my life because my mom did not make it past her 50th decade. She died before she was in her 60s. I've spoken about this before. I know the legacy that has come down in my cells, in my genes, and I want to change it for the children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren coming after me. It's not just about you. It's about the generations to come. So I'm asking you, what cellular legacy do you want to pass on? And that's my open, guys. So I want to ask you, did I have you at hello? You have to write it in the chat for me. Let me know how I did. Did I have you at hello? You have to write for me. Did I have you at hello? Yes, no, we interested. We want to hear more. All right. I have one yes. Only one person I had at hello. Two people we had at hello. Hello. Yes, Rhonda. Hello. Hello. Yes. Okay. So guys, hello, hello, hello. Let's take off. We're taking off. We're going full speed ahead. And it's going to be an amazing evening, an amazing 2 hours together. So I want to introduce to you now someone very important. The lady who is the functional wellness coach, certified cellular detox practitioner. Some of you may know her from Silicon Valley. She's an ex-Silicon Valley executive. She's an entrepreneur, a researcher, a keynote speaker, an advisor and coach to leaders and companies. Guys, I'm talking about someone who within 1 week of doing her program caused me to lose 10 pounds. Not even trying. I wasn't even trying. As the founder of the Anti-Aging Wellness Academy, this woman is dedicated to helping high achievers, women, entrepreneurs, people everywhere power their peak performance and defy aging by unlocking cellular rejuvenation. With over 10 years of research, training, testing, and coaching with industry pioneers, scientists, doctors, biohackers, and others, Angelina has uncovered key strategies and tools that allow her to teach effectively how to live and remain in a peak state. Her own journey is one of resilience, Some of you may know, some of you don't know, but she has successfully reversed fibromyalgia and another autoimmune liver disease that doctors once deemed incurable. She has successfully reclaimed her vitality, guys, shedding 50 pounds and looking a decade younger, all without restrictive diets, extreme movements. This woman is in her 50s. I'm coming to meet her. But Angelina thrives on guiding others to optimize their cellular health, helping them to achieve boundless energy, radiant health, and the ability to truly turn back the clock. Please make welcome none other than Angelina Kardash, our functional wellness coach. Please put your hands together for her, ladies and gentlemen. Angelina, welcome, 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 welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Amber. What an introduction. Can we take a moment, please, to appreciate our amazing MC today, my business partner, Dr. Amber? Can we give her some love in the chat? I want to see some fire emojis. I want to see some love. Please, isn't she amazing? I'm so privileged to have Dr. Amber on a team with me. I'm so privileged to have Dr. Rostomova on a team with me. And the way that she led her conversation, her opening statement, and presented all of us, and how we all interact, and what we give to you guys. This is truly amazing. So I am absolutely excited to be hosting this masterclass with you, Dr. Amber. And let me see. I see some familiar faces in the audience. I see Olga. What's up, Dawn? What's up, Shoma? I see Grace. I see Kelly in the room. Angie. All right. Let me ask you a question, guys. How many of you dream of waking up every morning full of energy with radiant vitality to see the most vital, fit, and confident version of yourself? Drop a yes in the chat. Is that you? Awesome. You're amazing. I'm glad to have you guys. This is a brand new masterclass. This is going to be tons of fun today. And this is a serious conversation, guys. And we prepare for you amazing gifts, okay? So make sure to stay until the end to get access to those gifts. So we're gonna give you guys access to the gifts for those who stay until the very, very end, okay? And what are you gonna get from us? You're gonna get anti-aging guide and tracker with all the tips, with all the powerful information on how to start reversing your age. That's number one. Number two, you're going to get an amazing, powerful training from our functional doctor, Dr. Ostamova. And it's called Top Lab Markers You Need to Know for Weight Loss and Optimum Health. Okay, let me ask you this. How many of you heard from your doctor that your blood work is normal? However, you're still dealing with a lot of symptoms, right? Fatigue, inability to lose weight, bloating, some digestive issues. You're frustrated. Okay, so how many of you guys are there dealing with the same issues? So, I mean, your blood work is normal, right? So your doctor tells you that, everything is normal, but still there are a lot of things that are off. So put me in a chat if you ever experience that. Put me in a chat. And I'm monitoring the chat. Yeah, okay. So I see some yeses. Okay, so what we did, I asked Dr. Rustamova to actually record for you this training so you can understand, not just, looking online and Googling information, what's happening with you. So she recorded for you a very deep dive training on how to transcribe your blood markers. Okay, so we're going to give it to you by the end of the masterclass. So now tell me who wants to get those gifts and who gonna stay until the end of the masterclass. So, give me some fire emojis and, let's put in the chat me. Yeah, awesome. All right, guys. All right, let's go. Okay. So I want to get in, today and give you tools and tactics and practical strategies, because when Dr. Amber, she opened up this night for us, she talked about strategies. It's all about strategies because strategy is the most important thing in your life. Wouldn't you agree with that? So, I'm going to give you today with Dr. Amber and Dr. Istamova the strategies that I've personally used in my health for the last 10 years. And we've been using a lot with our clients. Okay. How many of you guys agree that we live in a time when our country becoming the most, sicker and sicker? Anyone agree here? Give me some hands or, show me some hands or, put some emojis in the chat. So my mission is to give you all the tools that you can become the CEO of your own health. Okay. Someone type in the chat CEO. And before we continue, is it okay if I share with you my story? Someone say that's okay. Someone say that's okay. Awesome. All right. So I spent over 20 years in a hustle and grind of Silicon Valley. Last 15 years in executive management roles, leading global IT departments, building cloud solutions, managing IT operations, information security programs, running on a lot of stress and burnout. And at age 35, I had a pretty solid career. And however, it was all like beautiful and, flourishing outside, but on the inside, I was very sick. I was very, very sick. Okay. So in that time, I was a single mom. I was exhausted, stressed out, and really running without any breaks. How many of you guys being there? Or maybe your guys going through the same story right now, right? So no breaks. I mean, exhausting, a lot of, like a burnout, stress. Anyone out there? So I had all the symptoms. I mean, crushing fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues, bloating, daily migraines. Okay. And, this pain all over my body. I gained a lot of weight. I couldn't release it. And I was like 5 times a week in a gym, exercising, weightlifting, cardio, core training, everything, just name it. I was on calorie restrictive diets, and I might lose like 2 to 4 pounds, but they always came back. How many of you guys tried to lose weight and doing everything right, but you never been satisfied? Someone out there going through the same story? Type me if it's you. So I went from doctor to doctor trying to figure out, what's wrong with me. And almost gave me different medication to treat one localized problem, right? So I went to migraine doctor. They gave me antidepressants and painkillers. And later, in a year, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Okay. So, and actually, the Stanford doctor, renowned Stanford doctor, she put me on antidepressant, on non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, opioids for my intense pain. Okay. And, all the side effects came in. I gained more weight. I couldn't sleep at night, waking up, all sweating. And suddenly I started to experience anxiety and panic attacks. So fast forward when I was 42 and gave a birth to my youngest daughter, pretty late in the game, yes. And right at that moment when, I became a new mom, I got a new diagnosis. I was diagnosed with serious autoimmune liver disease. And basically my doctor told me that, Angelina, I mean, you may need a liver transplant in 5 to 7 years if you don't start on medications. And until that, I was like 5 years on different meds, and I'm just, basically getting more sick. So that moment, the whole world collapsed. But, what I did, I actually that night, I researched the profile of people, with all those different incurable autoimmune diseases and cancers. And I learned a lot by, looking at those profiles. And this is where my healing journey started. And I've changed my lifestyle. I changed the way that what I put on the inside and outside. And I learned to watch toxic loads. I learned about supplements. I learned about cellular health and detoxification and toxicity and inflammation. And I learned about emotions and, basically all the stuff that Dr. Amber just brought out in the morning, right? So emotional stress and all that. So not every modality worked for me, okay? Not every modality. So in through the a lot of pain and learning through my own mistakes, basically took me 8 years to get where I am now. And basically, by now I am completely recovered from two diagnoses, from fibromyalgia and my liver autoimmune disease. And would it be okay? I really wanted to spend a couple of minutes to share with you the pictures, the pictures, how I look like, so you guys, see my real story in real life. Would it be okay if I share with you this? Do you want to see my story in pictures, kind of, to see the transformation that, okay, all right. So yes, okay, so I'll do that. So let me share my screen. Okay, let's see. Okay, sure. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yeah. So I just wanted very quickly to share with you my story. So this is me, 35, right? So in corporate, traveling all over the world and leading big teams. And this is how I looked when I was 35. You see, I was so much inflamed. I mean, I had joint muscle pain. I was always bloating. I couldn't lose weight. And, that's basically the story of me going to gym 5 days a week and exercising and do all this, crazy workouts. And still, I mean, I was not able to lose weight. And that time I was already diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And this is me, that's 2016, so 42 years old. And my sweet daughter was born. And that's where I was diagnosed with the liver autoimmune disease. And this is beginning of my health journey. So I've got into this clinic and, I started to research about different healing modalities. Oh, my first modality was introducing, introduction to the water fast, right? So, and look what it did to my body, 15 days, right? Fasting in a clinic and learning a lot about holistic health, a lot about, all those cellular health and all these different modalities. So just 15 days in the fasting cleaning. And I mean, that's, that was already a transformation. And my liver enzymes, I mean, got, normal within 1 month. So, and this is me. I mean, I was 3 months in the journey, just, lost 35 pounds by, influencing my family to eat clean. And, this is me like 12 months in the journey. I mean, that's how much weight I basically lost. And I just wanted to show you this transformation. So this is me, 37. This, I call it cortisol face, like all puffed up, right? So inflamed. This is 42 years old. This is 47 years old. And I'm over 50 now. So I'm showing you guys this not, to, impress you, but impress upon you, right? So what's possible. So just, really wanted to share with you my story. And once I got into this path of healing, so my body became resilient and so strong. And I mean, this is me like in the, like last 5 years of my life, right? So like ski instructor, I mean, I got my ski instructor certification. I ride motorcycle. This is my family. So again, I mean, like I just wanted to show you guys what is possible. Okay, so what is possible with when we start to take care of ourselves. And this is really what I want for you. Okay, and like now this is exactly it. And thank you, Don, for saying that. Thank you. And this is all possible. And I'm going to teach you guys the same protocol that I applied for myself, right? So, and I'm going to give you all the practical tools so you guys can apply the same tools to your lives so you can achieve the same transformation. Okay. Someone say in the chat transformation. Someone say in the chat transformation. Okay. All right. So, we have hundreds of people coming through the system, okay, with a like high success rate. And if you follow the system and you have to apply, what we teach. Without application, I mean, there is no transformation. Okay, the transformation follows application. Someone say now application. Someone say now application. And I don't know your goal. It might be, losing 10 pounds, maybe 20 pounds. As Dr. Amber shared with us, she lost like 10 pounds, within a week by being in my program, right? For someone, it could be 35, maybe 55. It doesn't matter. Okay. Only you know your goal. However, what I know that, the people that, have weight loss resistance and they're struggling. Okay. How do I know? Because I've been there. I've been there on the same path. Okay. How many of you guys been there too? Say that's me. Say that's me if you've been there in this path. And maybe you've tried ketogenic, maybe you've tried paleo diet, maybe you've tried plant-based, low carb, all these famous latest trends, right? We live in the moment of infobesity. There's so much information out there, so much information. So this expert talks about this diet. This expert talks about that diet. So, I mean, should I go vegan? Should I go carnivore, right? And believe me, I've tried all diets you can, ever possible meet on the market, right? So, and it's not about that, okay? It's not about that, and we're going to talk about why it's not about the diets. And we don't teach diet. We do not teach, like a specific training protocol. We teach methodology. We teach strategy. It's called cellular rejuvenation method. Okay, that's what you're gonna learn today. Say cellular rejuvenation method. Okay, and I know that weight loss resistance and accumulation of like excess weight. I mean, you guys are at risk. I mean, whoever has this for diabetes, pre-diabetes, of cancer, stroke, Alzheimer, and dementia. Okay, it all comes back to inflammation. And if you're feeling off, whether you have joint pain, when you have back pain, headaches, brain fog, anxiety, depression, or gut issues, your body is trying to tell you, right? So it's trying to tell you that it's something wrong goes, within your internal system. Okay. And the symptoms aren't just symptoms. Okay. They are signs that your body is giving you that something is deeper going on inside. Okay. And if we don't address the root cause, they just keep stacking up. And the truth is that, it could be a sign of the metabolic problems. And if you ignore them, you can turn into, like a bigger health issues, later on. And the first secret I want to share with you today, it's a metabolic dysfunction. Okay. It's a root cause of all health issues and chronic disease. Someone saying in chat, metabolic dysfunction, metabolic dysfunction. So when you have fatigue, when you have weight gain, brain fog, those are the early signs of metabolic dysfunction. Okay. And it can lead to chronic conditions like diabetes, autoimmune disease, heart disease, because everything, like every disease starts with metabolic dysfunction. You need to understand that. Metabolic dysfunction, it's like a fire, like a silent fire inside of your body. Okay. And that makes impossible to lose weight. And what I'm going to about to share with you guys is completely different approach to weight loss. Okay. Because weight loss is not equal health. Okay. Weight loss is not equal health. And this is why I want to really create awareness today for people that are using all those popular methods of losing weight these days that unfortunately are being promoted everywhere by bloggers, by celebrities, even by doctors, right? I mean, all those GLP-1 agonists like Mounjaro, Ozempic. Yes, you can lose weight, but at what cost? And we're going to talk more about that today. Okay. So I want to give you the approach that actually works with your body and not against it. Okay. And this approach can be new to you. Okay. I've been doing this for, over a decade. And I can tell you this approach is totally game changer, not just for weight, but for your overall health. Okay. And here's why it's not a one size fits all approach. If you've been told that weight loss is just about eating less, right? Counting calories, exercising more, or that you need to count and, reduce calories to see results, throw that out of the window because this is a myth. This is not true, right? We are biologically unique, guys. And that's why traditional all those cookie cutter approaches, and in diets, they just fail for so many people. Maybe you know someone who can eat an entire pizza and not gain a pound, right? Do you know someone like that? My husband is so like, I mean, he can literally eat the entire pizza. He's actually challenged to gain weight, right? His body works on a totally different level. Okay. So um again, I mean, like or someone, someone like me, I mean, tell me if, I mean, this is your story. I mean, I can like easily put like 3 pounds by looking at a cookie, right? So again, or something that I can eat, or like I might eat a steak, and I'll explain why. I mean, I can eat steak, or like a butter for the entire week, and I'm gonna gain like 5 pounds, because we're all biologically unique. Because specifically, my body cannot metabolize saturated fat. Okay, so and I just shared that with you. So I showed you my slide deck, and you saw, during my transformation, so I became vegan, and I really felt amazing, and I just didn't know anything about like different types of eating right. I mean, yes, I mean, I kind of captured that for from some doctors I worked with, but again, I was just lucky that it worked for me. I know a lot of vegans that feel so awful on a vegan diet, and there is a reason for that. Okay, so it's not about vegan, it's not about carnivore, it's not about that. It's about our biological DNA blueprint. Okay, so again, it's not about calories. We're here to fix the root cause. Okay, we're not about the quick fix. We're not going to do 500 or 800 calorie crash diets, because if you're going to do that, you're going to create and drive more inflammation to your body, and it's going to create more weight loss resistance. Okay, are you guys getting that? Yeah. Just wave at me if you are hearing what you're hearing, and you're fine with what I'm telling you, that you understand the strategy. So can I see your hands? Can I see your hands? Okay, great. Okay. So again, I mean, we believe in a long-term sustainable solution where fat just melts off from your body as an outcome of getting healthy. Say someone in the chat, outcome of getting healthy. Outcome of getting healthy. Okay. So it's about understanding your body's unique needs, and working with with real data to get results. Okay. So in my journey, I met a lot of doctors, like Sunil Pai. I mean, he's one of the celebrities. Dr. Ornish, another celebrity, Dr. Goldhammer. I actually went to his clinic when I started my journey, and I did the water fast in Santa Rosa. So and all those doctors, they talk about inflammation. Again, I mean, cellular inflammation, the silent weight loss killer. Okay. And all those books, they have tons of clinical research. And I learned from all those doctors about inflammation, and that completely shifted my approach. All these people, they really gave me answers why cellular inflammation is actually a root cause for all the diseases. Guys, write this down. If your body is inflamed, weight loss becomes nearly impossible. Okay. So if you're inflamed, weight loss is impossible. And it stands behind everything, like your joint pain, your back pain, your headaches, and anxiety, depression, brain fog, gut issues. It starts all with cellular inflammation. Okay. So here's what we're going to do today. All right. So we're going to dive deeper into foods. Okay. That's the first thing that we're going to do. Specifically, the wrong foods that trigger inflammation and block your ability to lose weight. So we talk about food sensitivities, right? And how, standard American diet is literally toxic. You guys know that, right? So everyone knows about standard American diet. Yeah, put in the chat me if you know about standard American diet, right? I'm sure you guys, I mean, you're, smart people, so you know about standard American diet, right? Okay. So, and this diet, I mean, certain ingredients, I mean, that, just make your body hold onto fat instead of burning it. Okay. Then we're going to talk about your unique DNA blueprint that can, address your specific nutrition protocol that will work for you. And we'll be talking about nutrients and cravings and gut health, because I want us to be real. Okay. Can I ask a question? How many of you guys have intense cravings? Intense cravings. Can you put it in the chat, because I can't see the whole audience? Just put it in the chat if you have intense craving. Put me. Okay. Okay. So it could be sugar, it could be salt, chocolate, ice cream. Those cravings are actually a sign, because you remember we talked about the signs, right? So the symptoms that as actually explains, what's wrong with your body. So it's basically telling you that something is off. Okay, and we're gonna figure out what it is. And then we'll uncover the toxic load in your body, because your body holds onto fat to protect itself from toxins. Does it make sense? So your cells are overloaded with toxins, your metabolism slows down, your fat storage become a defense mechanism. And then, I'm going to tell you how to detox at the cellular level and reset your metabolism for good. So who is excited? Who is excited? Say excited in chat. Awesome. And then my partner, functional doctor, Dr. Samoa, she will take the stage to share her perspective on weight loss and the functional medicine standpoint. Okay, you guys are awesome. I see, like a chat is exploding. I love that. I love that. I want to celebrate you guys. Yeah, I'm just celebrating you guys. Let's, give yourself a, round of applause for being here and being, such an amazing audience. Okay. So, and then we're going to show you this Auto Rejuvenation Blueprint, okay, the program and how to get this done. Okay. So, let's do some takeaways, because it's been almost like a 50 minutes in a class, right? And we have only, maximum 2.5 hours, to address your questions. So how are we doing so far? Amber, do you want to take over at this point?
Absolutely not a problem. So let me ask everyone if you have a takeaway, something that or if you have a question. So Angelina is here. Do you have a question? Do you have a comment? Is there something that she said that you didn't know or you're seeing? You knew it, but you didn't quite know it. Anyone? Anyone going once, going? So you have to raise your virtual hand so that we could see you. All right. So I see Rhoda. Okay, Rhoda, go ahead, unmute, and you can ask your question.
Good night is not a question, is a statement. She said if your body is inflamed, weight loss is impossible. So that's a piece of information I'm aware of. I think the issue is being able to identify what causes the inflammation, how to rid it besides the basic information you get online. So I'm
Okay.
looking forward to that.
Yes, good question, Rhoda. Yeah, she said she knew about the inflammation. Once you're inflamed, you can't lose weight. But what we get online, eh, eh. And Rhoda, d- I'm telling you, I didn't even try. I didn't even try. And I went on the scale, I was like, 3 pounds gone. And then, another 2 pounds gone. And then, I was like, Angelina, it's not even been 7 days doing this. And that was just in the first week. And it's continued. It was my birthday Saturday, guys, and I broke all the rules. And guess what? I still have not gone back to where I was. I'm still less than, you know. So I'm very, very interesting. And I haven't been on the journey very long. So good question. Dawn is writing in the chat. She's curious about the water cleanse. So I'm not sure what you feel privy to that you can share about that, Angelina, but we'd love to know. Anybody else with a question or a comment that Angelina could tackle before she leaves? Before we not leaves, before I leave this part and give it back to her. I saw with the pictures, Angelina, that, they say if a picture paints 1,000 words, right? And the way you looked at 35, how many of us, we know that look, right? Where the under eyes are puffy and you just look like you're forever pregnant. Now, I love to see a rosy pregnant lady, but the forever pregnant look. And everybody asking, you pregnant? And you're like, no. You're pregnant. No. The forever pregnant face when that's just inflammation. And, the transformation. And she's more than 50 now. I thought, Angelina, you're not supposed to be pre or perimenopausal, and you're not supposed to be like more bloated and more inflamed than ever. You're not supposed to be looking like no hot number in no bikini on no boat. What is that about? Showing off all your goods there with Eugene. What is that about? Grace is asking, how do I know if vegan is the way to go for me? Great question, guys. I want to celebrate Rhoda. I want to celebrate Grace. I want to celebrate Dawn for really good questions. So, Angelina, let me turn back to you.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you. And thank you everyone for participation and for your questions and for amazing takeaways. And let me address for Rhoda. So that's exactly what we're going to talk today, how to basically start to get rid of the cellular inflammation. So, I mean, that's exactly what you're going to learn today. And then I see the question about the water cleanse. So water cleanse, it's one of the modalities, and, it could be one of your protocols. It's an amazing healing modalities. But again, without looking at the specifics, because we're talking here about a personalized health blueprint, okay? And there are so many different input data goes into that, including your, like a DNA blueprint, including your blood work, and including, your stress level, your inflammation stress level, your cellular health. So without looking into that, I mean, it's really, we cannot address that specific question, but we're going to tell you, how to know if, it's going to work for you. But it's an amazing modality, just overall, like everything, you hear online. I mean, like this expert talks about, water fast, that talks about intermittent fasting, that experts, talk about infrared sauna, that expert talks about cold plunges. I mean, all those modalities work, but you need to know if the specific modality is going to work for you. Okay, we're going to address that. How do you know if the vegan is the way to go for me? And again, in the same way, we're going to cover that today when we go into the second part of the masterclass. So thank you so much for all your questions. So let's keep going, right? So again, I mean, like our goal here is not for you to go through the long lecture, or, giving you a lot of information so you cannot apply, okay? Because, I mean, I really want to give you results. Now, how many of you want to know how to drop 10, 20, like a pounds, like yesterday? Type me in the chat if this is you. Okay, awesome. Okay, I get it. And I know, that when people come to me, weight loss is the number one thing in their mind, okay? But here's the deal. When people actually, start this journey, they quickly realize that's not about the weight, okay? Are you guys with me? So it's not about the weight, right? What is it about? It's about your health. It's about your cellular health, okay? So would it be okay with you if I share with you guys an example, okay, what it looks like? Is it okay with you if I share with you an example? Okay, so I'm gonna just for a minute, gonna share my screen again so you guys will see what it looks like. So let me just share my screen. Hold on a second. It's always hard to find this button. Oh, here we go. Okay, share. All right. Okay. So this is Janet. Okay. And she's 59. All her life, she was a fitness professional, eating healthy, exercising every day. And she came to us to lose weight. Okay. She is like postmenopausal, and she gained like over 20 pounds. Okay. And she lost 22 pounds. But you know what mattered even, more in her journey? That she came in with prediabetes, high cholesterol, low energy. And she wasn't just, carrying extra weight. She was carrying cellular inflammation. She was in her metabolic dysfunction and exhaustion. Okay. And I bet a lot of you can relate. Maybe, you're thinking, yeah, I need to lose weight, but, deep down, you also know something else is off. How many of you guys know that something else is off? It's not just your weight. Yeah, wait with me. Awesome. Okay. So, and I just want to start this record straight with you. My number one goal is not just to help you lose weight. Again, my number one goal is to get you healthy. And guess what? When you get healthy, the fat melts off as a natural side effect. Okay. I want you to write that down. The weight will come off as a side effect of getting healthy. Okay. So this is not about another quick fix or crash diet. It's about long-term sustainable transformation. Okay. So, and I know that you guys tried, a lot of you guys tried everything, counting calories, low carb, keto, all this diet, fasting, all this, training protocols on modalities on Instagram. You follow the rule, but, your body fights back because weight loss is not just about food. It's about inflammation. It's about hormones. Now we start talking about hormones. You guys see how it's all related? It's hormones, it's your gut health and metabolic, function. Okay. I wanted to show you Maria. Okay. Maria, she is 47. She dropped 25 pounds, but she came to us when she was struggling with fatigue, sleepless nights, depression, and autoimmune issues. The weight was just a surface problem. You need to understand that. The real issue, her body was inflamed and out of balance. And she had hormonal issues. Okay. And she also had autoimmunity, like thyroid autoimmunity. Okay. Now let me show you Tanya. Okay. 51 years old. Okay. And again, she lost 27 pounds. She came in battling anxiety, chronic fatigue, high cholesterol, and inflammation. Okay. So this is what I'm showing you guys. 3 months, 12 weeks in the transformation, in the process. Okay. And I don't know if we have some guys here, but this guy, he was so amazing. Oh my gosh. An ex-Army Marine. So he shed 20 pounds, okay, for his Army event. So he came to us and ladies, I have this Army event where I need to fit into my uniform. And I have 2 months. Okay, we said, okay, Tom, you got it. So he shed 20 pounds. He had gut problems, constant energy crashes, high cholesterol. Okay. So, this is the pattern that I see all the time. Okay. So it's not about the weight. We're talking here about the, when body is inflamed, gut out of balance, when your hormones are off. Okay. So you're in this constant battle, okay, to drop a few pounds and then, the weight comes back. So again, inflammation makes weight loss impossible. So, can I ask a question? So can you guys, by looking into the pictures that I just showed you, by, those incredible transformation, can you rate them from 1 to 10? 10 being, the highest, possible rating. So what do you think about those transformation? What do you think about those transformation? So I'll show you, like 4 people. I'm looking in the chat, and let me start, stop sharing so guys, I can see you. Yeah, this is what I think. This is also, we all think this way. Those people, they're just, got through amazing, like a transformation. Okay. All right. So, at this point, can we do, a couple of takeaways? Because, we talked about the weight loss, we talked about inflammation, we talked about all other issues. So, is there any takeaways in the audience? You can unmute yourself. You can, basically comment in the chat, but I just want to make sure that, our message really lands with you. So anyone here, anyone in the audience that want to share a couple of takeaways?
Is there anybody? We also have a question. I believe it's
Amber,
Kendra.
you're on mute.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, we have AI working for us.
Oh, Kendra wants to ask a question.
Amber, you're
Kendra,
still on mute.
over
I
to you.
cannot hear you. You need to unmute yourself.
Oh, I don't think she can hear you, Amber.
Okay. Kendra, you go.
Okay. So my question was, can exercise actually make you more inflamed? Because I play pickleball and tennis, and my body just hurts. And I feel like the more I do, the more I eat and want to eat more.
Excellent
Excellent
question.
question.
Thank you, Kendra.
Thank you, Kendra.
Can everyone put yourself on mute so I can speak without an echo? Yeah. Thank you so much for this question. Let's give it up for Kendra, please. I mean, that's an excellent question. Let's give it up for Kendra. So what you tell me is that you play all those sports, which is like a wonderful, but if this can like actually increase inflammation in your body. Yes, it can to some extent, but for that we need to know your specific DNA blueprint. Okay, specific DNA blueprint. If so actually exercise helps a lot. Okay, exercise helps a lot. And if you're not in a very vigorous exercise, like I don't know, maybe some people are in a very heavy weight training, or maybe you're overdue on cardio, right? Or for instance, I mean, if your immunity is not so good, like if you're going through the virus period, like, so I mean, maybe you need to slow down. But to answer your question, it's a complex question. So there is a specific lifestyle that needs to be adjusted for your specific DNA blueprint. Okay. So what you do is really great. Why you're having pains in the body? It's about, cellular inflammation, and we're tackling cellular inflammation, from, basically multi-directional. Okay. So it's not just changing the way that you're training. It's, changing the way that you're eating. Okay. It's, giving you all the right nutrients and minerals that the body need and making your cells healthy. So again, complex question. There is not a simple answer to that. And again, we need to look deep down into what specific DNA blueprint, will show that what specific lifestyle modality will work for you, what specific nutritional protocol will work for you. But, in overall, exercise is wonderful. Keep doing that. And you're not doing something very extreme. And my gut tells you that you have inflammation from something else, not just, from the way that you exercise. Again, we need to really deep down, look down into and do the cellular assessment in order to help you to figure out what's wrong. Did I answer your question, Kendra? Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. So multidimensional. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ember. Anyone else? Any takeaways? Any takeaways? So I just wanted to make sure that my message lands with you, that weight loss is not equal to health, right? And that weight loss is actually the outcome, of you becoming healthy. Okay. Does this land with everyone? Yeah, you guys understand, what's the difference between weight loss and actually get yourself? Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Rhonda. Okay. Awesome. All right. So cool. Can we move forward? Can we move forward? Yeah. Say Angelina, go. So say yes in chat so I can see that I can move forward. Okay. So let's talk about the food confusion for a second. Okay, food confusion, because I know some of you are overwhelmed, right? So again, I mean, how should I eat? Should I eat keto? Should I go plant-based? Should I cut carbs completely? Is intermittent fasting the answer? So again, I mean, I call it infobesity. We're overloaded with so much conflicting advice. And we're going to cut through the noise today. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we use testing, not guessing, to figure out exactly what works for your body. Okay, but before we do that, I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about the Standard American Diet. Someone say in the chat SAD. Okay, it's called, the abbreviation for that SAD, Standard American Diet. Okay, honestly, it is very sad. The Standard American Diet filled with toxins, inflammatory foods, and way too much sugar. Okay, think about the typical meal: pizza, spaghetti, burgers, hot dogs, tacos, sandwiches, fast food. Okay, so what is wrong with that? Heavy carbs that drive your blood glucose spikes up and down, up and down, up and down. Processed hydrogenated oils that are toxic. Ingredients that again, I mean, all those ingredients just, spike your blood glucose, sugar like crazy. And here is a problem that every time you spike your blood sugar, your body releases what? What hormone it releases? Anyone? Your body releases insulin. Yes, Amy. Right. And you guys are smart people. I mean, yeah, let's give it up for Amy. Write that down. Insulin is your fat storage hormone. Someone write it down in the chat. Insulin is your fat storage hormone. Every time you spike insulin, your body locks in fat storage mode. And when you eat processed carbs and sugar all day, what happens? You're riding this constant blood sugar roller coaster, okay? Spiking your insulin and then crushing down, okay? Leading to more cravings, more fatigue, more stubborn weight. And it absolutely doesn't stop here. Okay, it doesn't stop here. It leads to inflammation, gut dysfunction, brain fog, and all this chronic disease. So what happens in the background, your body going through the glycation process. Someone say glycation. And this glycation process, it's the same as aging. So what is aging, you will ask me, because it's very, very important to understand what aging is. Aging, it's when your DNA, okay, they start to come apart and break down. And that leads to all those visible signs of, like you have wrinkles, you have declining energy, lack of mobility, sagging skin, right? So how many of you guys want to delay that? How many of you guys want to delay aging? Put me in the chat. Put me in the chat. So basically, so listen to this. Aging is a progression of the disease. Aging is a progression of the disease. This is why we do functional testing. So now let's talk about this DNA testing, okay? It's your roadmap. While you cannot change your DNA, the amazing things that you can design strategies specific for your DNA, okay, giving your body exactly what it needs to thrive. Let me give you some examples of these DNA specific strategies that can work in real life for you. Like again, we talked about that how one diet will work for one person will not work for another person. Just share with you guys today, like when I started to eat everything and like really loading on the heavy on the red meats and saturated fats and ghee and butter every single day. I mean, in the beginning of this year, I gained 20 pounds. Okay, so because my body cannot metabolize saturated fats. Once I figured this out, okay, weight came back very quickly. Okay, so I lost weight very quickly. So like your DNA can tell you, for instance, if you're lactose intolerant, meaning your body struggles to digest dairy, okay? So you could be better with a dairy-free options, okay? Or we talked about, like a saturated fats, or someone needs to eat like low carb diet because you have a specific set of genes and you are predisposed for insulin resistance. This is me again. So this is me again. So, and this is why I need to watch. So for me, like more ketogenic diet, will work for me. So your DNA can guide you in designing the perfect exercise routine. That's back to the Kendra question, right? Some people, genes make them great at, endurance activities and like running long distance. Some people are better for strength-based training workouts, like weightlifting, right? So, really, when we talk about the DNA, another thing comes up, if your body can really easily recover, right, after, workout. So, again, the answer lies down in your specific biology. Same way with toxins. Like, do you know that not everyone processes toxins in the same way? Anyone here? Anyone heard about this? No? Okay. So DNA like really, really plays a huge role. And, some of you can be sensitive to things like specific pollutants or pesticides or alcohol. So, and you can take the steps to minimize exposure and protect your health. And there are some people who carry poor environmental response genes. So, meaning it's hard for you to remove toxins from the body. And when these processes do not work efficiently, toxins can impact, your cardiovascular system by, initiating, more inflammation in your body. So, and this is why you need to focus on a very specific detox supplements that can help you detoxify at the cellular level. Okay. And it's not enough, and it's not just that, it's about also, prioritizing your sleep, okay, because it's also very important for your cardiovascular health. So you need, to prioritize specific foods and specific minerals, okay. So finally, what I wanted to tell you that your DNA can help you understand how your body processes hormones, okay? So it also can answer your questions about how you process emotions, okay? So some people feel emotions more intense, okay? Anyone here? Anyone here that feel emotions more intense? And there's, more calm people, right? So they're, just, under, kind of, they never worried. I mean, they're so calm and, again, it's DNA impact your stress response, your resilience, your burnout, okay? So, and you may be more engaged in, like bringing habits and, or some people can have addictions. So I have addicting personality, and it's not just about like a foods or alcohol. It also about my ability to just overdo in everything that I do, overwork myself, right? So it's everything. This is your behavioral psychology, right? So I mean, how your body, how you behave, okay, how you behave. So why this is all matter? Because this unique biological blueprint encoded in your DNA. Okay, so again, what works for one person will not work for another one. So we talked about that for some people eating dairy, it's okay. For some people not. Some people thrive on, certain vegetables, and some people really get bad on a vegan diet. And so this is why the DNS test is so important. So important. It's called functional genomics. Functional genomics that give you answers to everything that you need to know about yourself. Okay, everything. So, your nutrition protocol, your lifestyle protocol, your mood and behavior protocol, your inflammatory response, your toxicity response. So it's all rooted in your, DNA, blueprint. Okay. So, and food sensitivity is also important. Okay. So, and this is why we need, I mean, this is part of the assessment. So, I mean, this is step one, right? So, I mean, I'm taking you through the step one of the process. I mean, like how to do your cellular assessment. So find out your functional genomics blueprint, find out, your food sensitivity, okay, because it will give you your gut a break, okay, because that a lot of diseases, I mean, like so many diseases, they start in the gut, okay, so the healing the gut is the key. It also reduces your inflammation because once you remove the foods that that fights your body, okay, so that will break through in your weight loss journey. Like me, right? So I mean, I shared with you, like I needed to cut on red meats and saturated fats, so I started to lose weight again. So when we started testing our clients, I mean, everything changed. People who had been stuck, finally, I mean, they started to lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds of weight because, again, I mean, this is about tailoring what works for your specific biology. Okay. So before we move forward, let's do a quick exercise. I want you to write down two things for me. Okay. What is your weight loss goal? Is it like 5 pounds, maybe 10, 50, 100? Be specific. And why do you want to achieve it? Maybe, it's, to have more energy, for your kids, maybe to travel without limitation, maybe because you want to look confident. So you just need to have this clear target because if you don't, right? So if you don't know where you're going, so you can never get there. So you need to understand So what is your target? Okay, so we're going deeper into nutrients and cravings and like a gut health. Okay, so let's get some takeaways right now. So you don't need to, I mean, if you shared, I mean, wonderful. I appreciate that you share with us, but I want to hear your big why. Okay, I want to hear your big why. You need to understand your big why. Okay, and some people are sharing like Grace, to have energy for my babies and feel confident. Yeah, Amy, thank you for saying that about family, heart history and feel better overall. Beautiful. So this is your big why. So without the big why, it's impossible to even get to your final destination. Okay, is this helpful, guys? Is this helpful? Is this helpful so far? Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So, all right. So, now let's dive into the next secret. Okay. I want to dive into the three big things: nutrients, gut health, and cravings. Okay. A lot of you said that you guys have cravings. So like maybe sugar, ice cream, chocolate. Tell me your craving. So can you write down in the chat what is your big craving? What is your big craving? Okay. So I usually crave salty food. Okay. So how about you? Sugar. Okay. Yeah. Beer, roti, ice cream, and cheese. Okay. Salt at night and sugar, chocolate, sweet. Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. So, what what I want to tell you that whatever you crave, okay, this is something is missing. And this is why, what we're unpacking today. Okay. Why nutrients matter for weight loss? Most people are have this nutrient deficit. Okay. And this is what, completely breaks their metabolism. And we've been, testing people, for over a decade, and, the same deficiencies showed up again and again. So like vitamin D, right? Vitamin D deficiency, magnesium deficiency, B vitamin deficiencies, zinc, okay, all crucial for hormone balance, for your metabolism, for your energy. So cravings are directly tied to these deficiencies. Craving salt, more likely to have a zinc deficiency. Craving sugar, you're probably depleted in B vitamins, okay? So craving chocolate, that's often a magnesium deficiency. Yes, Amy, malabsorption. Yeah, absolutely. So most people try to fix craving by eating, more of, like wrong things instead of giving, their body what they truly, truly needs. And this is why it's important to test. Okay. So, and we're not just taking random supplements. Okay. Because then it's just not working and you're going to flush them down, from your system. So, if your gut is inflamed, your brain is inflamed. Have you ever heard about gut-brain connection? Yeah, gut-brain connect. And anyone? Say me in the chat if you heard about the gut-brain connection. Yeah. Okay. So what we're trying to fix here, and because of this connection, you have brain fog, right? You have low energy, so you have a problem with the way that you are not thinking clearly. Okay, so again, I mean, what happens when you eat this, like wrong foods? Okay, so what happens when you eat this, wrong foods? Blood sugar spikes. It means that more insulin dumps, right? So, and you have all those crashes and cravings, and then cortisol kicks in. Okay, and that means more belly fat. Okay, so if you're more stressed, cortisol kicks in and you have more belly fat and more cravings. And then you're stuck in this roller coaster that makes impossible for you to lose weight. Okay, and this is happening at every meal, every single day. And this is why we need to reset your system. Okay, we need to fix your gut. We need to get your cellular inflammation down. Okay, so who wants here to know one simple things that you guys can do today to bring the inflammation down? Anyone wants to know? Okay. Okay, very simple modality. Not eating after 8 p.m. Okay, simple. Okay, because nothing good happens, when you are going to your fridge and, digging through your fridge and, you just, eat at night. Okay. you need to fast for 12 to 16 hours overnight because it helps reduce inflammation. It helps to balance your blood glucose spikes. It kickstart your fat burning process. So I mean, are you guys clear on that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Always snack after 8 p.m. Yeah. So this is very simple modality, right? So to get your system in a fasting mode, right? So we call it restricted eating. Specifically before you go to bed, at least like 3 to 4 hours. Okay. So all right. So are you guys ready for the last secret? And this is my favorite part. Who is ready for the last secret? Okay, cool. Okay. So this is probably the information that you never heard before. And we're going to talk about your, cells and how you can never get well if you're not going to fix your cell. Okay, because all processes start at the cellular level. Okay, so but before we do that, I mean, I want to recap what we covered so far. Because I mean, every single blocks kind of builds on what we talked before. Okay, so we talked about foods, the wrong ones. We talked about food sensitivities and how standard American diet filled with hidden sugars and then all these inflammatory ingredients. It really makes your weight loss journey impossible. And we cover nutrients, cravings, processed food, and why most people are nutrient depleted and like so that the food manufacturers, they really use the science behind it, right? So to make your food actually addicting, so your taste buds really addicted to the taste of this processed food. Okay, so and again, I mean, guys, it's not about the lack of willpower. It's all scientifically engineered. Yeah. Okay, you know that. Okay, good. So think about that. If you, like, for instance, you you eat an apple, do you immediately crave like a second or third apple? Or if you eat some another whole food, you don't, right? But if you open a bag of cookies or chips, right, what happens? You taste just one and you cannot stop. Okay, so this is designed. This is like food chemistry, right, in all its power. I mean, this is what happens. So again, I mean, I want you to understand that your body holds on to fat, like as the buffer against, all these toxins. Okay. I'd like at this point to talk to you about the toxic bucket. Okay. So if your body is inflamed, like overloaded with toxins that your cells are damaged, so, and your metabolism slows down and your energy drops and you don't have ability to burn fat, and it's not about at this point about eating less. It's about getting your body to function properly again. And when I say toxins, I want you to imagine that you have a bucket kind of built in inside of your body that fills in drop by drop with all the toxins that we get from food, right? Because there is like 27 artificial ingredients in a processed food, and like in like one bar. Okay, high fructose corn syrup, hidden sugars, preservatives, MSG, dyes, trans fats, artificial sweeteners. So everything that we eat that is no hot food, I mean, it puts you just introduces more and more toxins inside of your body. Like the water that we drink, right? I mean, also toxic. I mean, the air that we breathe, the products that you put on. So toxins are really, everywhere. So toxins from plastic, from pesticides, from pollution, right? So again, I mean, the food industry making us sick, and the pharmaceutical industry, they're really just cashing on all that, right? Because I mean, they prescribe you more medications, right? So, and this is where this whole story about like GLP-1 agonist comes in place, right? So I mean, people are looking for easy solutions, and they take GLP-1 agonists like Manjaro, Ozempic, and instead, by the way, I mean, I just published the clinical study. I read this clinical study and I published a summary on that once you start getting the pharmacological meds to lose weight and you don't do anything else, so you're gonna lose 40% of the lean mass. What it means that you're losing not your fat, you're losing your bone density, okay, and you're losing your muscle mass. And what it means for you, that you're completely losing your health, because your muscle is like everything. It's everything, okay? It gives you energy, and I mean, it helps with your metabolic processes. So it's very important to understand that. So now, I want to touch about the cell, okay? Because cell is the most tiniest part of your body, right? And it's responsible for all these processes in your body, okay? So, and your cells make up tissues, and your tissues make up, you know, all these organs. And if your cells are damaged, inflamed, and overloaded with toxins, so body cannot function properly. Because what is the main function of the cell? The cell gets nutrients and vitamins and minerals in and get waste out, okay? And when your cells are inflamed, so that, you know, overall process is just, it's not working, okay? And when you have damaged cells, so you have weight loss resistance, you have brain fog, you have hormonal imbalances, you have chronic fatigue. So it all ties back to unhealthy cells, okay? So, and again, I mean, when your cells are inflamed, so you get all these diseases, okay? Because from the inflamed cell, you know, heart diseases, you know, diabetes, right? So autoimmune diseases, you know, Alzheimer, you know, again, all, you know, rooted in the health of your cells. Now I want you to write down in the chat. So by fixing the cell, you know, you can get healthy. So fixing the cell is key to fixing everything in your body. So you need to fix your cell. You need to fix cellular inflammation. And now I want to talk to you about the strategy, the strategies that we're teaching, the cellular rejuvenation blueprint. What is cellular rejuvenation blueprint? It's about helping your body to optimize your metabolic health so the body can work better at the cellular level. Okay. So what is it about? It's about it focuses on feeding your cells the nutrients they need. Okay. And how we do that when we know exactly what body needs. You know, we talked about the DNA testing, right? We talked about, you know, food sensitivity testing, right? So we need to give our body, our cells, what they need, okay? We need to get rid of toxins. We need to support our body natural ability to repair and to regenerate, okay? And the first step you need to do is, you know, really to identify what are the key factors in your environment that impact your metabolic health. Okay, so, and how do we assess that? Okay, how do we assess that with, you know, our day-to-day life? And once we get this clear picture, we can focus on the specific areas, you know, to make the specific improvements. And in our strategy, in our methodology, there is a key core pillars. Okay, so what do we do after we know, you know, your assessment? So then we focus on the nutrition. So what body needs, and then we give you the right nutrition. We give you, you know, the way of eating. So we're not dieting here. We're talking about very specific approach to nutrient density, to feeding your body with the right nutrients. Because again, I mean, if you're going to eat just in calorie deficit, you're going to continue gaining fat. Okay, we want to give your body what it needs. Okay, and you need to feed your body with all the nutrients and vitamins. And then we need to minimize toxic exposure, because again, the function of your cell to get the toxins out. How we do that? We do that through the upstream modalities and, you know, through the binders. When doctors comes in, she's going to talk about specific binders that help getting this toxin out of your body. You also need to protect yourself from you know, retoxification. So for reintroducing toxin, right? So you need to prevent those sources, you know, of the toxic exposure. You need to fix your sleep. You need to fix, you know, your circadian rhythm. Okay, again, I mean, we talked about very specific lifestyle protocols for exercise. You need to reduce your stress. Okay, you need to fix your emotional healing through by addressing the emotional trauma. That's what Dr. Amber talked about when she started the class today, right? So your road to metabolic health is different from mine, okay? And I personally may need to improve my nutrition and stress and sleep and emotional health, is opposite to you. Maybe you need to focus on removing toxins and move more. And again, I mean, the answers lies in your, DNA blueprint. Okay. So again, step one is recognizing which area of your environment need attention to support the best function. And step two, like checking your biomarkers. Okay. When you make the changes, so how do you know that it's actually working? How do you know? You can do that through the, checking your biomarkers and basically, we call it biofeedback. So you know exactly what happens with you, on this journey. Okay, so there are some body markers that tracks your blood sugar spikes. Okay, so there are some biofeedback that tracks your stress level, your nutrition. So there are so many things. And um, I want you to understand that our body, our beautiful body is always renewing. Okay. And think of the body as it's a process. Okay. It's not the entity, and it's a flow. Okay. It's a flow of improving. And again, if you know exactly what to do, your body can turn on good genes and turn off bad genes. Okay. So, at this point, I'm opening the room for some takeaways before we bring, our special guest. So, Amber, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Everybody, could we, Angelina shared a lot. Could we have a hands up? Could we have a round of applause? I mean, she's just like pouring out today. She's just like pouring it out. She's putting it out there. One of the things that is really coming home to me tonight, and I know that I know the program and I know that I'm in it and I've been seeing the results, but this whole thing about it's not just, guys, it's not just about food. It's not just about your relationship with food. It is about entire environment. I remember one of the first things she started to deal with me on is sleep. One of the first, it was, she's like, why are you awake, mama? Your body needs to rest. It's past midnight. It's near midnight in my time zone, and you are in Eastern. Why are you still awake, mama? And I can tell you that, like all my clients, I used to see clients really late because that's when we all had time. And I had to change my entire routine. So, guys, it's not your metabolic health and clearing up metabolic and cellular dysfunction is not just about food. Somebody write in the chat for me, this is not just about food. This is about your entire lifestyle. It's an entire lifestyle change where your circadian rhythm, your biomarkers, everything working in tandem is not your entire DNA blueprint is not just about food. Anyway, how many of you are enjoying the masterclass so far? Could I see some raised hands? Could you drop some hearts for me? Those of you who are enjoying so far? All right, guys, it's about to get hotter. If any of you have ever met Dr. Rostamova, you think Angelina is awesome and special, which she is, but she's partnered up with this firebrand. I'm going to let Angelina introduce her. But Dr. Rostamova leaves no money on the table. She tells it like it is. She brings the fire, and she's going to share all of this that Angelina shared, but from the medical perspective. Anybody excited about that? How many of you are excited about that? Well, if you've never met her, you don't know that you need to be excited about that. So let those of us who have already experienced it, we're going to let you know. Buckle your seatbelts because Dr. Ostamova and Angelina together, they're going to bring it. So if you have any questions, I want to urge you to write them down so that you're ready when they ask for questions, so that you can have your question answered, because they go fast, guys. These two ladies know their stuff. They go fast and furious. So without further ado, Angelina, let me turn it over to you so that you can introduce our very special guest.
I am super excited to introduce our special guest today, and she is a celebrated founder of Power of Your Health and Wellness. She's the owner of the Central Park Medicine practice. She is a, like functioning and operating surgeon. She started her career in a different spotlight, but and she obtained so many medals of honor, and what she accomplishes, and she actually walks her in her shoes, because what she's teaching, I mean, this is the way that she transformed her health as well. She has her own powerful story, and I mean, she has so many different awards, like from top professionals and International Association of Top Professionals, and she is a philanthropist and a humanitarian, and again, so many awards that I mean, it's a huge list, she herself went through some process. Someone type in the chat process, okay? That because everything that we experience is in our life goes, through the process. And as we go through the process, we become the person that we are in a process of becoming, right? So nothing happens overnight. And again, I mean, we're talking about someone who has committed her life to accomplishing everything that in her being, and she poured so much love and knowledge and wisdom into every of her patient, and everything she does is at a very high level. So again, as I said, being a doctor, and she's an active surgeon, and without further ado, I really want to introduce my amazing business partner, my friend, and someone who helped me in my health journey, the Woman of the Year. And please welcome to the stage, guys, Dr. Rustomova. Shanoz, welcome to the room.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Dr. Rustomova, Shanaz, that's me. Thank you for such a beautiful introduction. You're talking, and I'm looking, is it she talking about me, or who is she talking about? So I've listened to you guys. It's a very deep talk, deep conversation you have about biochemistry and the cell and importance of it. It's pretty cool. It's very, very interesting to listen. Beautiful conversation.
Yes, it was a beautiful conversation, and with you in the room, it will become more beautiful, because everyone is eager to hear, from the doctor, from the functional doctor, and you're the one that really combines the wisdom and knowledge of the traditional medicine, because you've been a traditional doctor for all this year, and you have a wisdom of learning the integrative medicine and living with monks in Tibet, and the practices that you personally taught me, just coming. Can I say something, guys? I cannot hold my heart, but we just been in Shano's retreat in Italy. She put an amazing spiritual retreat for all of us, and poured so much love and so much wisdom, and it was so breakthroughs in a room, just going through all the spiritual practices that she taught us. So, oh my gosh, I mean, it was such a heartfelt experience. So I just really wanted to share that. So with that, I have a list of questions for you. So my first question, because we talked a lot about today about medical interventions, and we talked about the way that is coming into the market these days, and being marketed by so many different unfortunately doctors as well, and celebrities, and some biohackers. But I want to talk about GLP-1 agonist medication, because I know personally a lot of people who are not obese and taking those medications, and then when we start talk to them, and our patients, our clients that work in our programs, And then they come to the point when it's very hard to, reverse everything that it's been created, completely down with the metabolic dysfunction. So can we talk about what is GLP-1 agonist and, what people should know about those meds before making a decision, going into them?
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, what's GLP? Such a big term right now. Everybody's like GLP-1, GLP-1. So we have to understand what GLP-1 in general is. So there are two hormones that regulate your sugar process, your metabolism in your body. Insulin, everybody knows that, and glucagon, the second one, glucagon. So what happens is glucagon brings the sugar up, the insulin, as soon as it goes up, insulin goes up to balance it and bring it down. So that dance between glucagon and insulin happens all the time. So there are some hormones that mimic the same function. And one of the most potent ones called glucagon-like peptide, which is a hormone that your body, my body produces. And when you have that hormone, when your body produces that hormone, it gives the signal to the body that it doesn't need to bring the sugar up. And if sugar doesn't go up, insulin doesn't go up. If insulin doesn't go up, cortisol doesn't go up. If the cortisol doesn't go up, inflammation doesn't happen. Inflammation doesn't happen, you don't age. So this GLP-1 hormone that we have in our body, in our small intestine, we have in our internal organs, we have in our brain, that is the hormone that actually protects us from aging on a bigger scale. And it's called glucagon-like peptide. And there was actually a study when they looked at women between ages, I think it was 35 and 55, and they measured the glucagon-like, natural glucagon-like hormone, and they correlated with the body, the weight, the BMI. They found that slimmer people had higher content of glucagon-like receptors and glucagon-like hormones. Now, this is something that your body naturally produces under certain stimulation, and we're going to talk about that later. But imagine if you have something like that hormone, but synthetic, that sends that message to your body not to increase the sugar and bring the insulin down, which you say, oh my God, it's such a great thing. That's why when you start these glucagon GLP-1 agonists, which is Ozempic, Mounjaro, and all other peptides that work in that category, you see cholesterol goes down, you see insulin goes down, you see diabetes gets improved, all numbers get improved, and you all get excited. We all get excited. Oh my God, this is the drug. This is the way. But not so fast. Why? Because it's still a synthetic agent that goes into your body that mimics your natural cycle, that mimics your natural hormone, but it's not it. So while you on it, you mimicking it, and at the same time, you suppressing your natural GLP-1. And that's why when you come off, the first thing you have is craving for sugary, gooey stuff, because now you don't have your own. So this is one of the biggest side effects. When once you come off, your cravings come back. Your cravings come back, you start eating all that, and then your weight comes back. And by the way, when you lose your weight, for each pound of your weight, 2/3 is the weight of fat, and 1/3 is your muscle weight. And then when you lose, each time when you lose it, when you gain back only fat, and muscle you keep losing. So each time when you have that yo-yo, whether it's with GLP-1s and GLP or without them, you have this muscle wasting process. But the problem with GLP-1s, that it is on the steroids, and it goes so fast, and you waste your muscle tissue so fast, and it's practically irreversible. And why it's important? Muscle is the most important, or one of the most important organs for metabolism. The most important metabolic functions happen in your muscle. And if you're 60 and older and you lose your muscle mass, you practically die. If you don't have enough muscle, you don't have enough ammunition to fight any kind of disease, any kind of infection or cancer, whatever it is. Statistically, it's shown the lower your muscle mass, the lower your ability to fight back any kind of adversities. Now, that's one issue. You're losing your muscle. You become very vulnerable. Issue number two, your cravings come back. Okay. Issue number three. So imagine you remove fat, which includes good fat and bad fat. Everything gets removed. Okay. It's synthetic. It doesn't have that intelligence that your body has. When it regulates, slows down, speeds up, slows down, great. We have that beautiful mechanism, created by God, that you don't even have to think about it to regulate the function of your liver, to regulate the function of your muscles. Everything is automatic. But once you introduce this synthetic foreign agent, those functions get shut down. And you just start to waste your fat everywhere, good or bad fat. And one of the fattest organs, the organ that has the most content of the fat, is your brain. And as a result, people on Ozempic, they prone to have anxiety, they prone to have depression, they prone to have problems with of neurological nature. You see, it could be neuropathies, it could be anything like, Parkinson or whatever it is connected to myelin, connectivity between neurons. It all has fat. The fat is that conductor that helps the and protector. So once you start losing it, once you start losing Cushing in your brain, in your nervous system, this is when problems start to appear. And people start reporting weird pain, neuropathies, paresthesias. And one of the neuropathies is actually can happen in your stomach. And it's already proven all over. There are many studies. And now, unfortunately, we are facing lawsuits about gastric paresis. What's gastric paresis? Is when that neuropathy happens at the level of your stomach. So then the stomach stops reacting to all the juices, all the enzymes, all the stimuli that coming from your brain when you eat. So as a result, you become, how do you call it? Like blah to food. Your stomach, you yourself, you can just keep eating, but your stomach cannot digest. And this constant nausea, and then very quick satiety. And especially it happens with the diabetic patients. And it's a serious problem. So there are so many problems with this, like serious problems. I'm not including cosmetic problems. Everybody already knows Ozempic fat, Ozempic butt, Ozempic face. Like people who on Ozempic, their facial features change because the fat underneath your cheeks over here that holds and keeps your structure, you start to lose it. So your body changes and your face changes as well. And your butt, your breasts also have a lot of fat. So they start getting saggier. The butt disappears. So there are many, many negative adverse effects. Am I against those GLP-1s? Absolutely not. Because I know there's a category of patients that need to be on it. It's medication. And some sick patients need to be on this type of medications. But the way we're using today, GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic and Mounjaro became household name. And in my opinion, we have to be careful because it's going to come back and bite us, which is already doing.
Yes. That's incredible information, and it's so incredible to actually hear that, from the doctor. And my next question to you, Shanuz, is what other ways do we have? Can you talk about the natural GLP-1 activators and how those activators, can help us not to get all the side effects, from what you told us, right? So when you use the, agonists, so, they're basically completely shut down your natural GLP-1 production. So what other strategies do we have? What other products do we have on the market that can help us to control the satiety, that, help us improve metabolism, right? Of course, I mean, with everything that you do supplementary, so you cannot just rely on those supplements. You need to change, the whole thing. You need to know how to eat for your lifestyle. You need to, for your DNA, you need to adjust your lifestyle. So, I mean, there's, comprehensive solution that, the strategy that we talked about here today. But knowing that it's not just the supplements, what are those solutions that can help you heal your metabolism?
Well, one of the solutions, one of the easiest solutions that's been practiced by humanity for thousands of years is fasting. When you fast, you re-stimulate your GLP-1 hormones production naturally. This is the easiest, the best way, especially when you do therapeutic fasts. When you fast, you reset your metabolism. When you fast, you reset your microbiome. And microbiome, which is bacteria that lives in your gut, plays a major role in production of this hormone, because a lot of those receptors that produce that hormone are sitting in our GI tract, especially in our small intestine. Okay, so these are our physiological, you ask what kind of action could be taken. Fasting. There's a lot of natural foods and natural herbs and natural teas and vitamins that one can take. Bark of this tree and root of this tree and leaf of this tree and that. There's like a whole list. And there's a lot of them, a lot of vitamins that you can take. So in my practice and, in your practice, that what we do in our protocols, instead of taking the whole array of those capsules and powders and so forth, we have a product that combine all of that in a smaller, like a capsule, 2 capsules, instead of taking 20 capsules, 1 or 2 scoops of something instead of taking, 30 scoops of some powder or a protein shake. So it is possible. And the food, the natural food, healthy food, actually does stimulate your natural GLP-1 production.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And I have last question to you, Shanuz. So today we covered a lot about cells, about cellular toxicity. So, and we talked about the first step that we do before, starting any protocol, because I mean, all our protocols are personalized. So can you talk about the tests that can detect the level of, cellular inflammation, and how that specific test can, help people to detect the level of inflammation, give them some answers to what they need to do next?
So there are different types of tests that we check to assess the level of toxicity. We call it oxidative stress in the body, in the cell, on the cellular level. So there is just a test just to see if you have toxicity, if you have oxidative stress. Very simple test that you can perform at home. There are some tests that we check for certain markers that need to be done by healthcare professionals, done in the office or done through telehealth, where you do the blood tests, and there are certain markers that we check and say, okay, if those markers are abnormal, elevated, then these are the markers of inflammation. These are the markers of oxidative stress. There's also certain parameters, like in vital signs, for example. I'm a big proponent of not just checking your blood pressure and weight and checking, just calculating your BMI, which is important, but it's not only that. It's the waist measurement. The waist is the most important thing that shows your aging. You know, like even if you're skinniest person, your waist, if you compare your waist when you in your 50s compared to when you were in your 20s, it's different. Although the weight itself could be the same, but the waist size changes. If you look at the dog, if someone is walking a dog, you could tell that the dog is old or young just by looking at the waist circumference of their body. You see, that is one of those, hints or tips to realize how much of toxicity of oxidative stress your body is carrying.
Yeah,
So
this is part of the metabolic assessment, that we do. And by the way, we told you in the beginning, for those who stay until the end of the masterclass, right? So, I mean, we put for you together, guys, incredible gifts. And one of the gifts is a training that Dr. Stamova recorded for you guys about your blood work. So it's a very in-depth training for understanding all your markers. So, but again, I mean, when it comes down to metabolic assessment, there are 5 biomarkers that sets the stage for your metabolic health. As we just talked about, waist measurements, right? And then fasting glucose and your hemoglobin, A1C and triglycerides and good cholesterol, and also blood pressure, right? So, I mean, these are all the basics of metabolic health. So again, I mean, stay with us until the end, and we're going to share with you 2 gifts that we talked to you about, the beginning of this masterclass. So, and I also want to share with you this link because some of you have upgraded to the VIP, but you can get actually the test delivered to your home to check the level of your cellular inflammation, your oxidative stress, and this is a link. You can actually use this link right now and upgrade to VIP, and then we will follow up with the test where you can check the level of your oxidative stress, and that could be answer for you why you are not losing weight. Okay. So
there's another also very good hint. When you see your primary care doctor, they check your cholesterol. How to read your cholesterol. Just by looking at your cholesterol, you could actually assess and say, okay, I do have some oxidative stress. We have good cholesterol and we have bad cholesterol. So when you have elevated cholesterol, you look at good, which is LDL, bad, which is LDL, and good, which is HDL. So cholesterol is a very, very important component that function as a building material for human body, right? So your cells, which is the most important unit, you guys spoke about that. The wall of the cell consists of good cholesterol. And if the cell is functioning properly, this good cholesterol is protecting the cell. So your good cholesterol continues to stay high. But then if something happens, if you have toxins, if you have inflammation, if whatever is happening with your cells get inflamed and then eventually destroyed. And when it gets destroyed, the wall of the cell that consists of cholesterol gets disrupted. And those debris, the debris of the wall, the damaged, dead wall cells floating around in your bloodstream. And that's what we call bad cholesterol. Just by looking at your bad cholesterol, if you have elevated high cholesterol, your bad cholesterol is the one that is indicating that you have oxidative stress. Considering that you're not on statins. If you're on statins, then you can judge that. We're talking about pristine blood work without any medications. It's a very good hint. Next time when you see your doctors and look at your, or if you have results of your cholesterol, just take a look and see. And that also a very good tip and indicator.
Shahnaz, I kind of, wanted to bypass this question, but I'm going to ask you that because I want to hear that from you. Why the cellular rejuvenation system, why it stands out from, all other modalities, and why it's, the path to true healing and basically getting to the state of health that, you're, really looking forward to.
Yeah. Well, first of all, cell is the most important component. We all came from the cell. One cell met another cell together and created embryo. And here we are. We're sitting here, trillions of cells, talking, walking, functioning, and we call it human body. So cell is the place where everything happens. All your metabolic reactions happen in the cell. Every information about you, everything happens in the cell, in the form of DNA, in the form of protein synthesis, in the form of enzyme productions, and you name it. Everything is happening in the cell. If you look at the cell itself, it's a one small unit that has everything there. All the energy production it takes place there. Biochemical reactions and metabolism of nutrients takes place there. Your building of muscle or building other organs and building and rebuilding and rejuvenating information in your DNA, everything takes place in the cell. So the cell is the most important thing. Life on the planet started from the cell, one cell amoeba. That's how important cell is. So if you do approach body without considering cell, and I will explain how it happens, then you're really missing the point and you're not getting to the point where you're supposed to. And that is the most common thing that I see in my practice. When the patients come, usually have many rounds with other doctors, come with perfect levels of vitamins, perfect levels of everything, but they still not feeling good. And the reason behind that, because even if vitamin levels are normal in your bloodstream, it's not the fact that these vitamins are really going into the cell. The cell is still starving and suffering. And one example is let's say if you have DNA gene mutation, MTHFR gene mutation, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's one of those very common mechanisms that it usually gets depleted as we age. If you have that mutation, you deplete, or if you're already born with the two mutations, then initially from the very beginning, that mechanism is affected. And as a result, you don't bring nutrients into the cell. How does it work? For example, check your blood levels of your vitamin B12. B12 is low. Okay, doctor says your B12 is low, go and take some B12. Oh, that's why I feel so tired all the time. Maybe, yes, that's what it is. You start taking B12, you come back in 2 months, your B12 is good. It's actually elevated, but you're still not feeling good. And why is that? Because there is a vehicle that helps to take that B12 into the cell. So in order for you to receive that B12 benefit, you have to ingest, you have to digest, you have to absorb, you have to get it into bloodstream has to take it into tissue has to take it in the cell. So that last component taking into cell, there is a vehicle called methylation. It's a vehicle process. I always call it like Uber driver that takes food, brings it into your house and dumps it there. And then if you have any waste material, it takes that trash outside. So imagine if you have that mechanism in your cell. That's called methylation. It's governed by this gene. So if that mechanism is disrupted, you can take tons of vitamins, but if you're not bringing to the cell, your cell is not receiving nutrient. It's starving. And at the same time, it's collecting the products of reaction, which is oxidative stress. And that's what we call, by definition, inflammation. So you have to address that. So intoxication happens all the time. We have this, defense mechanism to remove these toxins from our body. But as we age, or especially if we have certain mutations of certain genes, this is when this waste material start to get collected inside a cell. So if you're not addressing it, all the vitamins are going to be just useless, or all the changes that you're making are useless because the cell is still dysfunctional. You see?
So how we do it can you like, we talked about that, but I want to hear it, like, so maybe more, clarification from you. So how we do that inside of this cellular rejuvenation protocol?
Right. So imagine again, cell is the home, right? Everything's happening in the home. You have the walls, you have doors, and you have specific codes in order for you to get into that cell, into that home through the doors, right? And it's all governed by certain genes, by certain mechanisms. Now, we just talked about this MTHFR gene mutation, methylation, one of the mechanisms. So imagine if the toxins are coming out of the cell, they have to be transported somewhere else. So there are certain specific vitamins, complexes, specific minerals that play that role. It's almost like a garbage tracks. Imagine taking out the garbage from the cell and dumping it in the truck versus dumping it on the street. Like if you have garbage in your home and you bring it out and just dump it in the street, it's not helpful. You're not going to do it, right? So the same concept you have to apply to the cells. You have to have some kind of garbage material collector that will take it, like a garbage truck, will take that waste material and brings it to the places like your colon, your lymphatic system, and dumps it there, and then eventually it gets eliminated from your cell. So if that mechanism is not considered, and we call them binders, those vitamins, those minerals that play that role, we call them binders. If you skip that step in the cellular detox, you are not effective. Your detox is not efficient. Meaning that that's why in our program, you have a whole month of loading yourself with those trucks, so to speak, with vitamins, preparation for the detoxification first. And then the second month, actual dumpage of the waste material happens. And then the third month is final dumpage from your nervous system. And this is when you really know that you remove all the toxins. And this type of detoxification, cellular detox, it's not only gradual, it's actually helpful, it's effective, and it does not cause side effects of like other detoxes. When you do the detox, when you put enemas and you drink some juices, and when you go to the bathroom, yes, you feel better, but then at some point you feel depleted. You don't feel that because it's balanced. It's very important to use those binders first.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, it was so much just addition and clarification to what we talked about today. Was it at fire, guys? Can we all give it up for Shanos? Please, can we give her some love and some fire emojis in the chat? We addressed so much today. Let's give it some love for Dr. Samoa. And I want
Thank you.
to see this in the chat. Shanos, thank you so much for taking your time and coming to our class. It's late in your time zone, but thanks for being with us, and we'll see you in the next class.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
So guys, I mean, what we covered today right now, right? So basically, the whole system, I just want to recap, right? So the whole steps of the system, that we're not just guessing, right? So we are not doing the guesswork. We're actually testing, okay? We're testing you guys for, for so many things, including, your functional tests and DNA tests and oxidative stress. So, we're detecting what is your point A. And then we take you through the whole cellular rejuvenation method with a personalized approach to health. healing your cells from the inside out, okay? Because we need to fix your cells in order to get healthy. And this is where your weight loss, starts to take an effect, right? So once you start healing your cells, so that's basically the steps of the process, and monitoring you through every single step of the process with the biofeedback, because you can see with your own eyes what's changing inside of your body. So, and from that, Amber, I want to give it to you back for the last part of our masterclass.
Okay, everyone, I just want to say, guys, Angelina dropped it, but didn't I tell you guys that Dr. Rostamova was she brings the heat, doesn't she bring the heat? Guys, and she knows this stuff. You hear, I'm so sure. I'm so happy that she explained so many things. She explained why you want to have a detox the way that it's done in this program. She explained so many things in so much detail. I don't have all the names for everything, but I love the Uber driver. And yeah, you're taking the B12, but your cell isn't getting it. And so you're not getting any of the benefit. And you're still not feeling well. You're still, so guys, I mean, I know the time is short, so we want to just, didn't I promise you though, guys, that they were going to bring the money and they were going to show you the money in dollars and cells? And we have seen the dollars. Maybe you haven't seen the dollars. I'll share that with you now. But we've definitely seen the cells. Guys, how much is your health worth to you? I want to ask you that tonight. How much have you, or how much will you, or how much do you know that people have paid because they did not have their cells well taken care of, and it led to disease? And even though they had insurance, it led to a very expensive health outcome. Anybody know somebody like that? I do. I know lots. I know lots of people who have insurance, and even with insurance, because they didn't take care of their health at the cellular level, because they weren't getting this quality of information that you're getting tonight, it turned out to be very expensive in dollars and cells. But I digress. I know that a lot of you are probably asking, what now? What's the next step? How do you do this? So I'll tell you very quickly that what we have for you next is a 3-day retreat. In a single 3-day retreat, we hold you by the hand and we take you through the entire cellular rejuvenation method. And you will have all of the elements. And Dr. Estamova shared some of them. I shared some of them. Angelina shared a lot of them. The cellular blueprint. You're going to have a comprehensive report of your unique genetic makeup and triggers for behavior, health, immunity, longevity. And you're also going to get all of the support that goes with that. Daily mindfulness and inner healing sessions, multiple modalities, complete with lifestyle, AM and PM routines. Remember, we spoke about this, right? It's not just food, it's your environment. It is how you sleep, how many hours of rest you get, the exercises that are uniquely beneficial to your body so that you don't have oxidative and other types of stress and so on. These things are going to keep you going, healthy, not just maintaining, but thriving long after the retreat is ended. Daily biofeedback and monitoring. Guys, the first time we did that, I was like, oh, I spiked. Oh, exciting, actually. Daily biofeedback and monitoring and personalized recommendations based on that biofeedback. Game changer is all I can say. Anti-aging cellular rejuvenation blueprint. This is the nutrition plan, sleep plan, cellular detox, stress and emotional health toolbox, exercise protocols, all of this is complete, and that is for you. And then you're also going to get the no recipe 10-minute anti-inflammatory. It's called a Lego meal practicum. It's a dinner and party at Angelina's residence. Very, very special, guys. And this is so that you can blueprint your vital ageless life on repeat. Guys, and that's just the beginning because, like Dr. Ostamova explained, it's not just a 3-day thing that we do with you and then we leave you. It's an entire lifestyle process. It's an upgrade and it's a process. So she explained using the binders first, that's month 1, and then the release in month 2. And then the third one is when your nervous system gets to actually do its release of toxins. And so we are with you for the long haul, but it all begins in this 3-day retreat. Guys, I'd love to tell you more, but because of time and we want to honor your time, we want to close it down here. There is a link that Angelina has put in the chat. Um, if you would like to know more and you would like to book a call with us, I would love to take you through the rest of the blueprint, the rest of the plan. And if this is right for you, then we would like to welcome you to the Vital Ageless You lifestyle, the Vital Ageless You person that is on the inside who wants to come out, the vital ageless you who wants to leave a legacy, a blueprint that is healthier, wealthier, wiser for your children, grandchildren, and those who are to come. And so I want to invite you to book a call with us. The call will be with me. I will go through with you all of the things that you will get in this program, this amazing, phenomenal program. And guys, I'm doing it. And guys, it's doing me. So many things are overwhelming when you want to change or do anything meaningful. Not this, not this. So guys, do book a call. Do book a call and we will see you on the other side. We just want to be mindful and honor your time. And so, with that being said, I want to lead and go straight back into over to Angelina. And Angelina, I want to give it to you to button up. I want to say, Angelina, that you really shared with passion and fire tonight. You really, really did. Awesome job. And Dr. Ostamova, I've heard her present this different times every time, but tonight I felt it was one of the clearest explanations on what I had to write it down. It is the natural glucagon-like peptide that we have in our own bodies. And people say, oh, let's just replicate this and everything will be fine. But when you bring the synthetic thing in, so that was just so, so good. When she said that the brain, okay, guys, I know we have to go. So, Angelina, I'm going to give it to you, but the brain is a fatty organ, guys. And the myelin, all those connections between the neurons that when we begin to interfere with just remove fat from everywhere. Because the synthetic thing doesn't have the intelligence, we're taking away fat that we don't ever want messed with. Anyway, it was just so, so good. It was just so, so good. I didn't get to give her as much praise and thanks as I would have liked before she had to go. But Angelina, so let me just give it back over to you. Great job tonight.
Thank you, Amber. I think like tonight's masterclass was very clear in terms of all the protocols and the message. And I want to hear from the audience, guys. Can we get a couple of takeaways, from the audience? I mean, what was the one thing that you took from this masterclass? So what was the one thing that you took that you're gonna take it with you so it can change your life? So what is the one thing? I just want to open the room for sharing. It also will help us to improve our master classes going forward. So we really want to, hear from you guys if there is one thing that really impacted you today in some way. So anyone wants to share? And just because the audience and silent, maybe like a people kind of decided to stay in a room, but they're not actually physically present. So Gray's apartment, Dr. Simo talked about the trash can Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, let's give it up for Grace. Okay.
Yes, Grace. Thanks so much. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point, oh, Kendra, yeah, what a powerful share. Yeah, you don't want to go back on Ozempic. Yes, absolutely, because there is a better way. Okay, there is a better way of actually lose weight and actually not just losing weight, but also, start reversing the aging process, right? Because I mean, you're basically getting healthy on this journey, on losing weight. So thank you for sharing with us. Let's give it up for Kendra. Rhonda, absorption is important. Yes, absolutely. We want to, get all the nutrients and vitamins inside of the cell, get them absorbed, right? So I mean, just supplementing was, some stuff that you're depleted is not helping. Is not helping. This is why we need to do the full spectrum of your self-assessment and figure out, what's not working and get the waste out of your system, right? So, get those trash cans out, get the trash cans out of the system. So this is powerful. Let's give it up for Rhonda. Let's give it up for Rhonda. Guys, we are ready to close the room, okay? And as I said, here is I'm gonna give you gifts, okay? You guys, it's so amazing. I'm gonna give you the gifts. So this is your dashboard. So get your gifts from there. You will find the anti-aging guide, and you will find this amazing training, deep dive training on your blood work by Dr. Rostomova. And before we close the room, is there any questions? Is there any questions, for what we shared in the last part of the masterclass? Are there any questions about the, 3-day retreat? Is there any questions about the method? We're, opening up. This is the time. So let me switch to the gallery view. And I know that none of you are on camera anymore. It's so late in the evening, but I want to make sure that, we address every question that we have in the audience today. So any questions? Yeah, great question, Grace. Yes, we will be emailing you the links. Yes, and yes, we're gonna email the copy, of the recording as well. Absolutely. So it's gonna be available for the next 3 days. Okay, it's gonna stay up for 3 days. All right, you're very, very welcome. Very, very welcome. And before we close, can we all give it up?
Angelina,
Yes.
Vania has a question about the old dog's waist, the
Mm,
waist size. Dr. Ostamova was talking about, let me just come on here.
yeah.
So Dr. Ostamova was saying that your waist measurement is an indicator of whether you are experiencing metabolic and cellular dysfunction. And she said that we even know it when we look at dogs. All you have to do is watch a dog being walked by its owner. And if the waist of the dog is tiny, oh, that's a young pup. They might be the same size, but if the waist of the dog is bigger, we know, oh, that's not a pup, that's a mature dog, even though the two of them are the same size in every other regard. And so she was just making a point that the same way it is for dogs and puppies, the same way it is she was saying that if our waist measurement is larger, it is actually aging us.
And I can give you a very certain waist measurement. So for women, if your waist measurement is above 33 inches, so you have a metabolic dysfunction. So that's, how important is that to really look at those 5 markers that we talked about, your waist measurement. So for women above 33 inches, for men above 32 inches, your blood pressure, your A1C, okay? So, and again, there is a functional scale versus the conventional scale. And when for those who stayed until the end, and we just shared with you the gifts. So Dr. Rustamova, she goes into very much details about very single blood marker. So you guys understand how to assess yourself. Okay, it's very important. So you guys understand how to assess yourself, because the conventional medicine is not giving you all the answers. All right. Back to you, Amber. And can we please give it up for Dr. Amber Joy Daniel tonight? I mean, it's such a pleasure every time to co-host, every masterclass with Dr. Joy Daniel. She's an amazing partner, and she pours her heart into every single event that we do together. So thank you so much, Amber, for co-hosting this masterclass with me today. It was amazing.
Angelina, it is my joy. It is my joy, as you know, guys, but I really have to give it back to Angelina. Guys, what you see and what you're getting tonight is her passion. It is her hard work. It is her determination to deliver to you more than, guys, how many of you have been to your doctor and never got, been to your doctor for years and never got the type of information that you got here tonight? Anybody? Yeah, because doctors, this is her passion. So please, let's give it up for Angelina, because this is her passion to bring that education and bring that change of life to all of us, to all of us. All right. So this is where this is where we're going to take it down, everyone. And I want to leave these three things with you. Information alone is not enough to move the needle for you. You have to implement the information that you know. It is information that has been coupled with implementation that brings transformation. Because the truth is that all of us know how to read a book that will give us directions on climbing Mount Everest. But how many of you know that it would be folly to climb Mount Everest alone? No, you need a Sherpa. You need a Sherpa, somebody who already knows the way to lead you there. And I think that there has been great demonstration tonight that the Sherpa Angelina, the Sherpa Dr. Rostamova, the Sherpa Dr. Amber, we know what we're doing, and we can safely get you there. We've done it ourselves, we've done it on and for each other, and we've done it for our clients. The other thing I want to share with you is that time is money is a myth. We say that, but the truth is, if I were to offer everybody here tonight $5,000, anybody wants it? Anybody wants $5,000? You put me in the chat. If anybody wants $5,000, put me in the chat. Yes, $5,000. But if I said, after I give you the $5,000 tonight, you have to die tomorrow, how many people still want the $5,000? If that's still you, put still me in the chat. Somebody put not me. Put me, then they put not me. Grace put not me. So they said, nah. So you see that time is not equal to money then. Because if $5,000 was equal to dying tomorrow, then it would be the same. But the truth is that money, what you just proved is that money is replaceable. Money is replaceable, but it is your time. It is your time with your loved ones. It's your time to fulfill your destiny. It is your time. That is the irreplaceable asset. And so I just want to make sure that you're putting the value on your health, because that is what gives you access to more time. With that more time, you could turn a profit, you could start a business, you could improve your business, but time is not the same as money. Money is a renewable resource. Time is not. So we have to do what we can now to steward this vessel so that we have time. I want to finish with this poem and invite you to join us in the VIP. vital, ageless, and alive. Feel the pulse, the vibrant hum. A life of health has just begun. Each cell alive, a spark of fire, building the body, lifting it higher. Mitochondria dance, the power's core, fueling strength you can't ignore. Detox the old, let toxins go. A radiant glow begins to show. Vital energy flowing free, an ageless force. It's your destiny. Skin so smooth, eyes that gleam, living proof of your ultimate dream. Feed yourselves with what they crave. Sleep, move, and sunlight's wave. Nourish deep with greens and gold. The secret to never feeling old. Hormones balanced, mood on fire, every heartbeat lifts you higher. This is health. This is power. Own your vitality. This is your hour. Ladies and gentlemen, Angelina and I, Dr. Estamova, Angelina and I, invite you to take your destiny as a vital, ageless you.
Let's give it up to Dr. Ember. It was beautiful, beautiful poem and a great closure to our masterclass. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank you.
joining us
Thank
today.
you. Thank you.
There is a link to book your call with Dr. Ember. There is a link to upgrade to our VIP offer to test your oxidative stress and your cellular health. And we're open to questions. So our team will support your questions within 3 days. And starting tomorrow, you'll see the replay in your mailbox. Thank you for joining us today. Bye, everyone.